Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to El Toro Dice Club. El Toro here. So thank you again, everybody, for all the comments on what's your best dice set. I appreciate all the feedback, all the questions, all the comments. It's awesome. It's awesome. By the way, I'm glad to be a part of this community, the craps community. I'm glad to be able to help you guys. Help myself and help you guys all at the same time, right? So anyway, thank you again. Now, one of the things you guys could, so if we just kind of start out, I guess we talked about dice sets, and I showed you what my dice set was. This is, everybody has their own dice set, and your own dice set is going to work with you, and simply because everyone's mechanics are different. I had a lot of questions about, what is it about being a dice setter? What's the difference between being a dice setter and shooting randomly? If the odds are still, six, there's 6 ways to make a 6 out of 36, and it's going to be the chart, what's the difference? So, one of the things you can do is challenge yourself when you practice. And here's what I mean by this. Go ahead and get what's called a baseline. A baseline throw. Take 2 dice and throw them, and it's going to come back a number, and do that 36 times. There's 36 different ways, or 36 different combinations of those 2 dice. So take the 2 dice, throw them, and get a number, and mark it down. If I were you, I would take 2 different color dice, and if you don't have 2 different color dice, go ahead and take a Sharpie and mark one with a black die somewhere. One of these pips, mark somewhere, even jot something someplace, like right there in the red, or if you have blue dice, right in the blue. Take a marker and just put a line on it, so you know which die was on the right or which die was on the left. But do something to make sure that you can differentiate between the right die and the left die. So when you take your dice, and if you shoot them, bring them back and put what's on the left, what's on the right, and then try to figure out what you were doing on your dice set. So for example, I'm just going to set this up as a 6-5-5-4, right? Actually, let's do it even easier than that. Let's just do the 6-5, 6-5-6-4, cross sixes. Y'all see that? Okay. Blue is going to be on the left for me, red is going to be on the right. So if I were documenting my throw, I would take my swing, or basically do my dice set the way I do, and my toss. Pitch it where I'm going to pitch it. If you have a table, great. If you don't, find some type of surface you're going to throw it on, and put a sweatshirt on it, or something you can put on there that's going to give it some bounce. Because a bouncy table is what you really want to start practicing on. Forget the hard tables. Hard tables, easy to nail numbers. Do a bouncy table. This is going to really determine whether or not you can, it's going to separate the boys from the men, put it that way. So there's my 2 dice, left die, right die. What you're going to do is you're going to remember I was at a 6-5, 6-4. So this dice didn't go anywhere. It landed and pretty much either rolled back to the 6-5, 6-4, stayed completely on axis, and this left die pitched outward, right? However it jumbled out, it ended up pitching out to the left, right? Not a bad scenario, because like you guys, when I said on mine, it's usually going to be one or the other, and not going to have too many issues with it. But this is how you're going to document it. You're going to say, okay, I ended up rolling a 9, so you'll put 9, and then, or you'll put 3, 6, and then a 9, right? And then you're going to do the next roll, and the next roll, and the next roll, and the next roll, and the next roll. And you're going to document all of your rolls. Then you're going to figure out how many 7s did you roll, or how many 2s did you roll, 3s did you roll, 4s did you roll, and put it on a chart for yourself. That's random. Okay, you're going to do a random way that way, and then you're going to set the dice to your favorite dice set. And if you're not a dice setter, then pick a dice set. Remember, there's 36 different combinations here. So you can even do, for example, this one. this is one V set, 3632, but you also have this V set, 3236. Although the numbers here are the same, they're set up differently. So you can even make your own study if this is the dice set you like. Is it better for you having a 3-2 on the left side or having a 3-2 on the right side? So you can really dive into this. Now, for those of you who are wanting more information on it, you just got to kind of look around, but I'll just tell you most everything else has already been explained in just about all these different books that are out there, probability and whatnot. The one thing about probability is it doesn't take into account a controlled shooter. Now, one of my viewers wanted to know more about it. So the purpose of us setting dice, and the purpose for most of you viewers watching this, is to do what? Get better so we can throw more points. How do we do that? By eliminating the amount of sevens from our count. We know we're going to throw a 7. Nobody says I'm going to call it as a 3-3 hard 6, right? I'm not going to call a 6-2-8. There's no way. Nobody's that good, I don't think. Luck, yes, but I don't think so. 5-3-8, okay. You may get lucky one day, but don't get cocky and start doing that at the table. But my point of it is this: we're trying to eliminate the number of sevens that are in the 36 combination. So 6 out of 36, yes? We're trying to reduce that down first to 5 out of 36, then 4, then 3. If you're great, then down to 2, and then maybe even 1 if you become that good. But what you're trying to do is to get it down to that 4 and 3, right? 4 and 3. That way you're going to get several point hits out here, a lot of rolls before you hit that 7. That's the purpose of setting the dice. So when it comes to dice setting, again, like I said in the last video, this is only one piece of the entire equation. The second piece will be your grip that fits and works with your own mechanics. So you can hold it many different ways. There's not a right way or a wrong way to actually hold this dice. What's most important is this. Give me a second, guys. What's the most important thing is this. Where are the dice going to land when they get out there? And are you going to put them there in the same place over and over and over again? So if you want to shoot the dice right here to this 6 and 8, then this is where you're going to have to put them each and every time, give or take that 8-inch space, okay? That doesn't mean that they're going to come out exact every time. That doesn't mean it's going to come out exact, but it sure is going to minimize the randomness for you. Now, another important factor in this, again, we're going to kind of get a little bit deep into it, so I hope I don't bore you to tears. The next thing we're going to do about this thing is right here. When these dice are traveling, you don't want them spinning. I don't think, you may want them that way, but most of us who are dice throwers and controllers, we don't. This right here means random, right? This means random. You might as well be shaking them up on the table if you're shaking them up in the air. You're trying to get your dice to travel nice and neat and calmly through the air, gentle through the air, and land squarely on the table. Meaning you want the flat surface of the die, you want that flat surface of the die to land flat on the table. Then it can take its bounce, right? That's what your objective is. That's what your goal is. So, are you perfect? No, nobody is. The dice are square. They're going to land. That's what you want. Land and move. The dice will, they almost walk, right? So when the dice lands, it does like this. Then it might flip over because it gets too much movement on it, right? Or it might flip one or twice and still has a little bit of movement on it. That's okay. You're trying to control your mechanics. You're not controlling the dice. you're controlling your mechanics, meaning keep your wrists nice and straight and firm. Don't start wishy-washing it around, because you're going to give the spin to the dice. When you start giving this velocity and spin, you're going to mess up your throw. Try to keep the dice as flat as possible into the air, so when they come in nice and smooth. Just land, right? That was left-handed, but I never really throw that way. So you're trying to get these dice to come in and land. That's really what you want. So there's not a lot of activity. The other part is, even though I throw from the end of the table, there's a lot of space here. I've got a lot of velocity getting into it, but I have to manage my pitch. I've got to manage the elevation of these dice, how they're going, with the right velocity to get it to my landing zone and then die. Now, every time I'm at the casino, just like I said on the last video, it happens to me all the time. They tell me both dice have to hit the end of the table. Yeah, I know that already. I know that. So you're trying to get your dice, they want your dice to come here and hit the table. I get it. But they're not going to kick you off the table if your dice don't. All they're going to do is tell you, hey, you need to make sure both of your dice hit the end of the table. No problem. Agree with them and do your best. Your next throw, you're going to do just as controlled. You're going to throw it a little deeper. If one die plugs itself here and the other one rolls all the way down a little bit and touches, at least you're making an effort. There are ways that you can make it appear that both dice are hitting the end of the table, or at least one. So that's my, be cautious about what you're doing. That's why I said I prefer to choose at the end of the table, because most dice throwers and control throwers love stick right one and stick left one, because all you do is you're doing your best to pick them up and drop them in its place, right? So you got to be real. I'm very careful with that, because of the way I throw and the way I shoot and the number of times it brings too much attention. So I try to do it from here. It's very, very difficult for someone to tell me, hey, you're controlling the dice, or you're influencing the dice to your favor from the end of the table. I'll look at them and say, really? You really believe that? Yeah. Anyway, but it does work. You just have to practice, right? Not everybody has a table, a full-size craps table at home. But you have something. Make the most of what you have and practice, okay? So anyway, back to what I'm saying. Mark your dice in a certain way and start documenting your results. That's the first thing. The second time you do it, you're going to grab a set of dice. Your second part of the project is pick a dice set, like I said, and shoot them. The third time you do it, I want you to just basically concentrate on your landing zone. Concentrate on your mechanics. Concentrate on that velocity. Concentrate on the elevation of those dice. Concentrate on everything you can, including, if you have to, think about your breathing, right? Whatever. Inhale on the backswing, exhale on the exhale as you follow through. Whatever you need to do. But find out what your results are. Document everything if you can. Once you start doing that, then you're going to start understanding why there's so many people that are interested in what's going on with these 6-sided boxes. There's too many people wanting to know what's going on with them, and how are guys like me and everybody else able to come up and produce these long rolls that make money. Well, this is how. So anyway, guys, I hope this answered a lot of different questions for you. So let's talk about what is the next step from here, right? So the next step from here is, once you're done determining what your dice set is, then what you're going to end up doing is, when you take all those numbers, we're going to go right into here. When you're done getting all that data and you collect it, you're going to know how you're going to get paid, right? So in my videos, you guys will see I favor the 5, I favor the 9, I favor the 8, and I favor the 4. So here's what my table will typically look like when I walk up to it and start to place bets. My bets, when I'm shooting at a real live table, my bets will be on. I'm not afraid of my shooting whatsoever. Because I have a die set, I'm comfortable with my die set, I'm not gonna waste a throw. So I will either put $100 on the 5, I'll may buy the 4 that morning, I'll put $100 on the 9, I might even go 140 or 120 on the 6, 120 on the 8, either one of the two. Because what I'm gonna try to do is recoup my money as fast as I can and then bring it back up to my chip rack. Once I've done that, then I know that my bets on the table are now casino money because I regress my money back. I'll regress back down to what I bought in at. Does that make sense? So when you find what your numbers are, you're gonna have 3 of them. You're gonna have 3 numbers that you're gonna favor because you'll see it. You'll see as you build up your data, you'll have 3 numbers that you favor. You can pick any of those 3 numbers, and within 3 or 4 throws of those dice, you're gonna hit that number. As long as you practice your mechanics and practice your dice set, okay? That's the whole purpose of what this is. Remember, we're not going to the casino to give them the money so they can go build another wing. Let the other 10,000 people a day do that, right? Let them do that. We're going there to go pick up some extra money. I mean, that's the whole purpose of it, right? I don't want to lose when I go there. I want to win. So do y'all, right? So let's do it. Let's start winning. That's what I'm trying to do. So you find your dice set that works for you. You get your mechanics down that work for you, and then you execute those mechanics that produce the results you're looking for. Okay? What did I tell you? What do I favor? That's right. 5s, 9, 8, 4. Well, from here, that looks like a 5, 4, doesn't it? Sure does. 5, 4. That's a 9. Well, I'd have been paid on that. My next throw coming in is going to be probably an 8 or a 5, right? But I know what my numbers are because I've been doing this a long time. Now, when I was a younger guy, I thought I knew what I was doing. I knew how to play the game like most of us do. We've been playing at it for years. But we haven't actually been playing it to our advantage. And that's what you guys are looking for. How do I play the game of craps because I really enjoy it? How do I play it to my advantage? Because there's a lot more money to be made here than there is at a blackjack table or a poker table. Unless you know you're playing at a giant tournament. But then again, you got to buy in for $25,000 with a 1 in 10,000 entries to try to make the big money. Not very many people have those kind of bankrolls or are sponsored. Guess what? With about $1,000, you can buy in and then every day walk out of here with $500 to $1,000 in gains. All by your own hard work, dedication, and practice, guys. This is the easiest game in the world to play and the easiest game to make money at. All you have to do is dedicate time and study what you're trying to accomplish here. You got to study what your mechanics are. So when you do your numbers, find your 3 numbers, and it's going to take you multiple sessions of 36. So, do it one day, do it a second day, do it a third day, do it the 4th day, until you find what your number is. Okay? Until you find it. And once you find it, you're going to be much happier when you go to the casino with the results that you get. And for those of you that are married, your spouse isn't going to be as upset with you when you throw her a black chip and say, "Here, honey, Don't bother me. Go do something, right? Because we all do that. That's what's going to happen. Look at there. That was my second roll. What did I hit? Y'all see that? 1 and a 4. There's my 5. So, with my bet being out here like this, right, I would have already collected this right there on my chip rack. That's $100. What's $100 pay, y'all? Okay. 1, 5. 25 pays 35, right? Okay, so there's what it pays. 25, 30, 35, 40. Yeah, that's right. Okay, pays 140. And then I regress down, right? So what do I have on the table? Let's look at it just in 2 throws. 50, 100, 160. Okay. 50, 100, 150, 160. What's my profit? 75, 80, $90 right there. That's your profit. This was not staged. This is not any hokey BS. This is a real deal, guys. And remember, I think that's why most of you guys are tuning in, is because I am not, I'm not sugarcoating this stuff. I'm telling you just how it is. I'm one of those straight shooters. I'm a really good shooter, but I'm also a straight shooter with you guys. I'm keeping it real, if you will, so that y'all understand what it is. It means to learn how to shoot these dice. What does it mean to play this game? But I think you're also getting a feel for who I am and what does this game mean to me personally. To me personally, this is my income. So I've made $100. Now I got to continue, right? This says, okay, this is what I'll give to my wife if she's here. Go do something, right? And then I start all over. But then you remember, now I'm just on houses. I'm on right now. I'm currently on the house's money. So I'm ahead because all this right here is up in my chip rack right now at this point. Now I start to press everything until I get up to black chips is what I do. That's my objective. My objective is to press everything up until I hit black. That's what I would end up doing. Guys, what is that? 415 again. So I would get paid on that again, right? But that gets pressed. There's more to give to my wife. That completes her $100. Here. There's $100. The fastest $100 you've ever made. Now get away from me. Don't bother me. Right? So that's basically what the game is. So I hope you understood a little bit of how I do this. Now, hey, you know what? Those of you who have watched this video all the way through, I don't know if you're watching it at night right before you go to bed because it's like a lullaby. It puts you to sleep. I don't know about all that stuff. But you know what? I was looking through my Google Analytics and I figured that out. I don't have anybody in here that's a female. It's all males from the age of 35 and up. All right. How about this? If you're a female and you play craps, chime in. Chime in. I'm going to have my wife involved on some of this stuff, so you'll be able to feel comfortable in asking some questions. And believe it or not, you know, the funny part is there's a different perspective on this game from the way a man looks at it to the way a woman looks at this game. Completely different perspectives. For those of you who are out there and you have a wife or a spouse, if you both watch it together, but you know, you're kind of a little introverted, trust me, conversations are free. My wife and I enjoy talking to people. It's, you know, we're not like that. Just let me know who's out there, you know? Let me know whether or not you're finding it beneficial. So anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you looked at it in 3 rolls, made $100. I mean, just right there, I hit my 5 twice, hit the 9. If I continue to go and go and go, we'll probably hit more and more and more numbers. Again, remember, you're trying to reduce the amount of 7s in your 36 count. That's the objective of all of this. If you take nothing away from here, reduce the amount of 7s in the 36 count. You're never going to eliminate them. Don't fool yourself. You're never going to eliminate them, but you sure as heck can reduce them by controlling your mechanics on what you're doing with these dice. All right, until next time, guys.